I fucking hate dolphins.
If you're hearing our voices, that means it's time for It's This Meets That, the podcast where we watch the worst movies from trail to end credits, scene by scene. So you don't have to, but maybe you should. I'm Russ.
I'm Jared. That's not true.
Yeah, I mean, that's not true at all. I think dolphins are great, right?
Dolphins are tops.
I've never seen one in person, but they seem cool.
You've never seen one in person?
I don't think so. They're always smiling. They're always making noises, squeaking like toys.
Yeah, go do some dolphin stuff. Listeners, go do some dolphin stuff.
Yeah, dolphin. That's it. Just go do some dolphin stuff. Okay. All right.
Full stop.
Full stop. Go do some dolphin stuff.
Yeah.
So we're back with part 2 of our full breakdown of Requin, 2022 movie about kind of about sharks. It's more about grief and surviving.
Yeah. It's more about the friends we made along the way.
Yeah. So part 1, we left off. Shit has hit the fan. The storm is going crazy. The hut's been tossed. We're now pinned in a rock in a hard place. And Jalen and her husband, Kyle, are just going to sleep it off and see what happens in the morning, right?
Exactly. That's where we left our heroes. But
and we got our cheap husband being like, I'm good. I hope I get a discount for this place yet again. Yeah, we get it. You're poor. All right. We get it.
Yeah.
And don't go on a vacation like this. It's okay.
Right. Like get a job much?
Yeah, like it's okay. Just go camping.
Yeah. Listen, at ITMT, we're no fans of jobs, but
got that right. But
sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
All right. So we're next morning, right? Next day.
Yeah.
And we get our, so we're doing a little Jalen, it's Alicia Silverstone's characters. We're doing a little wake up counter here.
Yeah.
And I think this is number 3 or number 4? Number 3.
3. This is 3. Yeah.
Okay,
we're still early in the movie here. We haven't.
So much more waking up to do.
I was like, this is maybe the longest hour and a half movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, it does drag a little bit, right? And I was like, oh, an hour and a half, we can cruise to this. Oh my God. So
it takes forever.
She does a little good morning Vietnam here. And the shot from the trailer of her waking up to like, oh no, where are we?
Which then we get a zoom out and it's the fakest looking CGI house of all time. I'm so mad. Like, because I think they have like a model cabin or because they use it in other scenes in other parts.
I think.
So why not just do that?
I don't know. Yeah, it just isn't. Yeah.
It looks so gross.
Yeah, it looks bad. So then they pan out and they're basically now on a raft with two and a half walls in the middle of the ocean. So
Kyle just goes, fuck.
So then they argue about like what they could have done, right? And she's like, I wanted to climb the rock and signal. And he was like, you couldn't have done it. And she freaks. And then she freaks in this. It's like so annoying.
Violent screaming.
They're both really annoying characters. I'm not going to put it all on her, but she's just always screaming and he's just annoying. They're always very annoying. And she's like, we always do it your way. And I was like, oh no, she's gonna. Yeah.
And like while they're arguing, he's like standing up on his broken leg. So like she's like screaming at him and we're getting crunching in the background.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I thought it's like a misery point where she's going to grab his leg and put her fingers in his wound and be like, we always do it your way.
I kind of was hoping. Yeah.
Right? Like where it's just misery on a raft in the ocean. Like,
give
us that movie.
Yep. Oh, there's more crying in this scene too. That's our third cry counter.
Yep. Shot from the trailer. Let's focus on surviving, babe. And we're still drifting. Yeah, probably, maybe.
Also, he keeps saying, he's like, well, we couldn't have drifted that far. And you're like, bro,
dude,
do you know how oceans work?
Do you know you fell asleep during all the drifting? Like
what?
So then he's like, we need to look for what we need, right? Water, blankets, food. I'm like, there's
ordering her around again.
Yeah. I'm like, right. He's like, go find this stuff. And like, there's nothing here.
Yeah.
So she's like she's barely hanging on, I think, mentally here, right? And then we cut to her doing like we get an underwater shot, right?
Yeah. Well, we get an underwater episode also. This is her third episode.
Yeah.
A brief episode.
Yeah. But she goggles up though, right? And she kind of faces her fear a little bit. She gets under the hut and she starts collecting water bottles, right? And it's kind of like a short little montage of her collecting supplies.
Yeah. She gets like a bag, a duffel bag, a couple of different bags. Super useful.
If you ever played any survival video game before, this is basically like you walk around like collect water bottles. Oh, I have 2 water bottles now. That's basically what's happening. And she gets a couple bags, right?
Later, you can craft them into something useful.
Yes. Water bottle weapon.
Yeah. You're like, okay, well, it costs 6 water bottles and 2 duffel bags.
And 2 duffel bags.
Yeah. And then I can make a slingshot. Okay.
Right,
Sure.
okay.
For the sharks?
Sure, video game.
Yeah.
But then she gets a little spidey sense, right? She's heading for like another bag that's stuck like on the other side of the hut, right?
Yep.
Her spidey sense
terrible swimmer also.
Yeah. Oh god, it was so painful to watch. But so her spidey sense kicks in, right? And she's like, something's out here, right?
Yep.
We get just a jump scare, cheesy jump scare with a bunch of fish that swim at her, right?
Yep.
And then we're back up on the raft, right?
Yep. And they just like sit and drink water, and they're like, "We should save this."
Yeah.
Okay.
We should conserve this, right? Kyle finds a phone, makes a little funny joke. Ha ha ha. Hey, can you come pick up our bags?
So stupid. I hate Kyle so much. I can't wait till he dies.
Yeah, he's doing his best to lighten the mood. He's like, yeah, man, you're making these dad jokes, but guess what? You're not a dad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That was low. I'm sorry.
Brutal,
Sorry, that was ruthless. And she was like, I was just
got that.
And she's like, he's like, oh, did you grab a fish? I could use some sushi. He's just crushing these dad jokes here.
Oh my god, I hate him so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's more like shots from the trailer, like, how long can we last? As we know, about a week without water. So
yeah.
And they have a light moment, right?
So much for the fancy water villa. And then like she's like, social media is the only thing I care about. It only matters if I live to tell someone.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah, right.
And then we get a transition-y shot of like the raft starting to leak blood. You're like, oh, okay, this is a good sign.
Yeah, that's because one of his bloody rags is like hanging onto the edge of the thing or whatever. So
yeah, Kyle's leaking blood everywhere.
Dummies, it's like, you're in the ocean, right? Do you understand?
No, they don't understand.
I think that's the problem too. Is like these characters are so dumb.
Yeah,
they're just so dumb. And I get, you're going through some traumatic stuff, but like, I don't know how I'd react in these situations, but I'd be like, all right, let's get blood out of the water at least. I feel like
I was gonna say, probably not as stupid as this.
Yeah. It's like super dumb.
Listeners, I don't want to say we're smart, but we're not that dumb.
We're not that dumb, because it just gets dumber and dumber as it continues here.
And not the good kind of dumber and dumber, like the sequels.
No. Yeah. You completely redeem yourself. No one redeems themselves in this. This is the halfway point right here. So we're 45 minutes in. It's only an hour and a half movie, or hour and a half and change, whatever. Yeah.
Just what's the Christmas Prince or whatever? Like there's a lot of like too long transitions. Like
they just had
10 seconds, 20 seconds sometimes.
Like, Christmas Prince, if I remember correctly, all their transitions were just of the castle. That was
it. Yeah. Just like this one is
just of the sun.
It's the sun. I guess it's the sun or the ocean. Yeah. Day castle or night castle.
I guess they only have two things to work with: water or sun.
Yeah.
Basically just showing that the sun's cooking down on him, right?
Yep.
And the point is because he's got the water bottle, I guess, on his leg or something. And
apparently
the water bottle magnifies the sun and
hate this scene too.
Burns his leg or something.
Yeah. Well, burns his nuts, apparently.
Yeah. Scorches his balls. I don't want to get my balls scorched.
Yeah. And then they laugh about it. They're like,
and then they lie down to sleep again, and we get a shot of the sunset.
Yep.
And we're still on the hut raft thing here later, right?
Yep. She's trying to wake Kyle up this time.
She wakes wake up counter 4.
Wake up counter 4. Yep.
She hears something. It's a plane. It's the plane.
Hey, boss.
Hey, boss. It's the plane. Yeah, right. She's like, hey, boss, wake up, boss. It's the plane.
It's the plane.
It's the plane.
Yeah, this turns into a Fantasy Island situation pretty quick.
Nightmare Fantasy Island.
Right.
So then she just like starts screaming again, because that's what she does through this entire movie, and like waving for this plane, right? And as we called out in the trailer trash, that plane is way too far. And he's like, babe, sit down. That plane is way too far away. She's like, well,
and she's like, if I can see them, they can see us, which is the most illogical thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
Yeah, I guess if they had a telescope or like, what are you talking about? That's not how any of this works. The plane is enormous.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's like someone's on the moon. I can see the moon, so they can see me. Yeah. So then this is when they get the idea. I think this is the moment where they get the idea of, let's create some smoke.
Right. Exactly. Well, let's use the bottle that burned my nuts earlier, and we'll try and burn something intentionally this time.
Yeah, to create a little smoke. And like, okay, that's okay. So they try to use the water bottle to start a fire to create the smoke.
Well, he kind of tries and then gives up immediately.
Well, because he's like, there's no sun. The sun is gone, right? Is that what he says in the song?
Yes. Yeah. He's like, fuck, the sun's too low.
Yeah. Like, God,
and she's like, try again. Try again.
Yeah.
And she's like screaming and waving and screaming and waving. And
yeah. And as we all know, I think, what was it? Safety tip number 70. What was it? Number 50.
Number 50.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Safety tip number 50, never start a fire in a raft.
Basic math.
So at this point, like he can't start the fire, right? The safety tip will actually come back soon.
Right.
So she keeps trying to jump and wave. And I'm just like,
this is around when I started to get worried that she wasn't going to die.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
She's the main character now.
No.
I thought it was going to be the two of them at least.
I thought it was going to be the sharks.
Yeah. Right. I thought there was going to be a shark in this movie. Mm-hmm. Because it's called the Requin.
And we get like an underwater / sun transition shot.
Yep.
As one of many, right? But the plane's gone. The plane's gone, boss.
This is wake up number 5. Jalen wakes up.
Yep, lying down. She wakes up and it gets hit in the face with some water drops.
I was like, is this rain or something? But it's not. It's like one of the tarps or whatever that was like one of the cloths on the side of the cabin was soaked in water somehow and started dripping. Probably,
I think because it was raining for the beginning of the storm, so it probably captured that water.
Like 3 days ago.
But I know. Like, that's the only thing I could think of. Like, why she'd be drinking and be like, "Oh, this is okay." Yes. So
it's definitely that. No, you're right. It's definitely that.
But logically, 3 days ago. and as we know, the sun's been scorching, so everything should be dry.
Right. You know how many times you've woken up?
So she squeezes water from the towel, right? And Kyle's not looking so good.
Well, it's like 10 drops. She squeezes like 10 drops out of the thing. And she's like, oh. But yeah, Kyle looks doomed.
Yeah. And she's like trying to give him water. And he's just kind of like.
She just like dumps it on his face.
Wake up. Grabs him by his leg. Wake up. We always do it your way.
I have the high ground.
I have the. Come on. Stay in a hut across the water. You said it'd be nice. You know I'm terrified of water. So more of her screaming, and then she sees
it's too dry to scream. Almost, thankfully.
Yeah, almost. And then she sees a tanker in the distance, and
like a million miles away.
Oh,
it's like where the Philippines is from Vietnam.
They can't see you. They can't see you. So here we go. Raft fire attempt number 2. Right, so she's trying to get it going, right? And then Kyle wakes up and he's like, use the newspaper, babe. Come on, get out. You know what?
Use the newspaper.
And he's basically like, step aside, babe. I'll take care of this. Like, drags himself over like a zombie without his legs. And he's like, I got this. And then there's like a weird montage of like her waving to the boat, which is obnoxious. Yes. Like, stop wasting your energy.
And screaming.
And him trying to start the fire. I'm like, this is chaos. This is making me nuts right now.
The music's really dramatic. They like cut in a bunch of shots of the clouds randomly.
Yeah. And then we get some smoke, right?
Yep. It works.
But hey, idiots, remember, you're on a wooden raft.
Yeah. And also that boat is driving away from you. So
yes.
They're definitely not looking.
They're not looking.
Yeah.
And then... Yeah.
Because this is when she fucks up and she screams at him, put everything on the fire right now, like shrieks at him. And he's like, I don't know, honey. And then he does. And
then you get safety tip. Don't start a fire in a raft, right?
Yep.
So then the fire breaks out and it does not look like it's pretty bad CG.
Yeah, and Kyle's like trying to like climb over to the side. He's like, let's just give up. Let's stop. Like, let's just give up. And she's like trying to put the fire out. She's like, help me. Why aren't you helping me? Put the fire out.
And he's got a broken leg. He's like, what can he do?
He's like, let's just give up. Like, jump in the water.
So then she's like, fine. And they both jump off like these.
Well, yes, they both jump. Somehow Kyle like stands up.
And just jump. Yeah, I know.
Again. God, I hate this movie so much.
Like, what?
He's leaking so much blood.
And he jumps in the water with like his completely still fairly open wound, like that's poorly wrapped in like a, hotel sheet.
Yeah.
So then they watch their hut burn down in like this terrible CGI. Like, oh my goodness, it does not look good. But they do get a smoke signal going, which I was like, maybe it'll work. No. Oh my goodness. So now we're on the open ocean.
Yeah. We get like an aerial. They started doing this more often in the second half of the movie where they're doing a lot more like aerial shots of the raft.
Yep.
Or them, whatever thing they're on at that point. But
just like some boards, some burnt boards left over from the hut that they're just like hanging on to, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And then they're sitting there for a couple minutes, right? And then she's like, "Whoa, what was that?"
Which, like, it's from the trailer. It's from the trailer when we thought it was a shark. Everyone thinks it's a shark.
We're all ready for it to be a shark.
50 minutes into the movie,
we want it to be a shark.
It's about time.
And Kyle's like, he's totally toast, but he's like, I think maybe it's just the current.
Yeah, which I actually thought Kyle was great at this for some reason. The scene, like, he forgot that he's supposed to be super wounded because he's like, I don't know. Yeah, I was just like, he seems surprisingly coherent right now.
Yeah, and he's like, let me check. And he's like, okay, yeah, dude, let's do that. So he goes under, right?
Yeah.
And he sees a blanket, but he thinks there's a shark, and he comes back up, right? And he's like,
you're right.
It's a shark.
Definitely a shark, babe.
So they're like, so they like start waddling towards like a bigger board, I guess. Like there's a bigger piece of like the hut that's left over, I think.
Yeah, and this was stupid then too. So like they're sitting on these little tiny boards, right? And they're worried about a shark. He's got an open wound in his leg. Yeah. You'd think that like they should stay put. Instead, she's like, we got to get to the big board over there, which like he's going to then swim and exert a bunch of energy and leak a trail of blood
to the thing. Right.
A way worse idea. Spread it around in the ocean. Why not?
Yeah. Like, right.
God, we're not so stupid.
Not that dumb. Like there's so many stupid choices they're making. Yeah. So they start like waddling towards a board, which by the way, like, I don't know, waddling in the ocean like this is just like you're not getting anywhere.
No.
So but they do get one, right?
They do get to the bigger board, and he goes, "I got to get my leg out of the water." And we hear crunch again, and he like breaks it. It's pretty
like,
funny.
This whole sequence is just like a comedy of errors. It's just like, oh my god, stop making all these choices. I guess that's maybe the point that you want them making. Like it's like a bad horror movie where they make, of course, they need to make poor choices, but
right. Voice is so annoying.
Oh god! So they make it to the board, right? They struggle to get him on the board, and he's on there, and it's getting tense, right? And there's something coming toward them, right? And it's getting tense and kind of building things up, right? Like, oh, now we got to get it right.
Yeah.
And then, fucking dolphin.
It's Flipper, basically. He jumps out of the water
for a jump scare.
Yeah. And you're like, well, it's actually a whole pod of dolphins, apparently.
Is that what they're called? Pods?
I believe so.
Traveling pods. A whole pod of dolphins. And then we get some more.
I could be wrong.
Deleted.
Listeners, correct me.
Some deleted footage from Planet Earth or whatever of dolphins swimming.
Yeah.
And they sigh and they're like, whew, thank God, right?
Yeah.
And then we get dolphin transition, right?
Fucking hate dolphins.
Now we're on the newer, lighter raft.
Yeah, raft 2.0, as I like to call it.
So they're on board, right? And she's like trying to wrap his leg. It hurts, right? And he's like, just leave it. Just leave it.
He starts like coughing. Why?
It's not your lungs that are a problem. It's your
like the rest of the movie. He's going to be like,
and then she's like, we're not going to make it. And he's like, oh, people live for months at the sea, and like, oh, the only ones that survive.
Oh, that's great.
So this whole scene is just like kind of couples therapy, right? Yeah. And then we learn a little more about his little backstory here. And he left her in her misery, like when she was after the whole situation, and she had like this kind of
I can't peg a timeline here. Yeah. Like how long is there in between? Because it sounds like he left briefly, but then like this seems like it's recent.
Yeah. And then he like mentioned like a divorce, and he felt bad for even mentioning that. And he's like, I should have been there. So I was like, oh, he's not that good of a guy. And he's like, he realized he could have been better. Right. So.
Right. And then we get this was possibly going to be the quote for the episode 2. Well, maybe this is our fate, childless and die young.
Like, actually, that's the one I thought you were going to pick.
Yeah.
And she's like blaming herself for getting them out there because what she was going through. And it's like, no, he's the one who booked the trip during monsoon season.
So dumb.
Die young like rock stars. Like, yeah, but they die by ODing, not by shark attacks.
And they're not that. He's almost 60.
Yeah, so yeah,
just like, I mean, that's pretty young, but like it's not that young.
Not that young. You're on the path towards Yeah. So then she makes the promise that they're not going to die, which don't make that promise. So
and then I hate this scene too, because then Kyle's like, remember Carl's wedding? Something about wedding pictures at Carl's wedding. She's like, it's going to be fine, babe. Everything's going to be fine. And they're like, why? Why are we doing this?
Yeah, I was at this point where because they're sharing like this moment. I was like, I don't care. I kind of hope they just die at this point. Like they're both annoying.
I did love the Kyle's like, you're like my best friend. And I was like, wait, only like your best friend? Yeah. Wow, Kyle. Wow.
Yikes. Kind of deathbed words are those, man.
You're like my best friend. Oh, so stupid. Oh, and then basically he makes her promise that they're going to be okay. She kisses him, and then he's obviously doomed at this point. Listeners, like it was clear from minute one.
Yeah, minute one, but now it's definite. I mean, his fate has been sealed.
Yeah, he just keeps coughing for some reason. Yeah, which that's how you know he's dying.
So we get like a sky clouds transition, right? Another transition shot here. Raft 2.0, we're still on there. They're hanging,
sleeping again.
Yep, and wake up call number 4, 6. Oh shit, we're up to 6.
We're on
now.
6 wake ups. Yeah.
So Jalen wakes up as usual. Honey, and then boom, shark head splits between the boat. Raft 2.0 splits Raft 2.0 in half, separates them, right?
Yep.
Sends Jalen on her own, right? And then seconds later, Kyle just gets sucked under.
Yeah. Finally, listeners, this is a full hour into the movie. Oof. We get our shark.
Yeah. and Jalen's like, fuck you.
Well, yeah, she screams "fuck you," and then she jumps into the water. Like she was kind of safe on the other half of Raft 2.0 here.
I thought she fell in. She jumped in. Okay,
no, she jumps in to try to attack the shark
with a board or whatever. Right?
Yeah, with a broken board. Like so stupid. And now there's so much blood everywhere. Like, Kyle is dead as hell.
Yeah. And she's just stabbing at the bloody water. Like it's just like what is going on?
She's probably stabbing Kyle. Who for all?
Yeah, right. Stop stabbing me, honey.
Yeah, and this is when we get crying number 4 because she's crying for dead Kyle now.
Yep, and then we get a quick shot of some Planet Earth leftover stock footage of a shark, which good call to do that, but it just doesn't work later when it gets
when we actually show the shark attack instead of this.
Oh my god, it just gets bad. And
then Kyle pops up.
Yeah. And she's like, it seems like he's like the shark's got him by the leg, right? And she's like, keep stabbing the water, right? And then she gets to the other board, right? And like Kyle kind of props himself up, and he's like, kind of okay. It seems like
she's like, you have to get out of the water, and he's like, no, trust me,
yeah, not gonna be good.
He's like, I do not have to get out of the water.
Yeah, I don't think I can. So he's like paddle, and watching this scene was just hilarious. They're like paddling for like a good 2 or 3 minutes. I'm like, where are you going?
Just, like top half of Kyle is just like barely hanging on to the side of the board.
And she's like paddling. I'm like, where are you going to, like, you're just wasting energy and you're burning like everything that's inside of you.
And sharks are so fast.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Like, have you watched anything? Have you ever watched Shark Week at all? Like,
and then my favorite is how this scene ends because she just runs out of gas and she just like passes out. And you're like, wait, what?
What? Party's over.
Yep. Then we get like an ocean transition shot.
Yep.
And she's sleeping again.
Yep.
Like Kyle is half.
Now we're on
what it used to be.
Now we're on half man. Now we're on Raft 2.5, maybe.
I think so. Yeah.
5.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, they're passed out, right? And we get some waves crashing. It's like nighttime, so we're like nighttime as well, right?
Yep. Exactly. This is when we get wake up number 7.
Yep. Wake up number 7, and they're on land. They hit some like patch of like beach or something like that, right?
Exactly. And she screams, "Honey, wake up!" Obviously, Kyle is dead as hell.
Yeah, and she checks his legs. I was like, "They're gone, right? They're gone. They got to be gone."
Yes.
And she drags him. She drags him on shore, and she's like freaking out, trying to shaking him to wake up, right?
Yep.
And like she's holding him in this spot where like he's basically like his back is like in between her legs, whatever. And she's like shaking him, like, oh my God, crying, whatever. And the camera pans down to his crotch and then down to his like,
and hangs on his crotch for like 10 seconds.
They did.
Like, yes.
Okay. I was like,
why?
Why is this taking so long? Are you building tension? A little crotch tension? It's like, remember we got scorched in the crotch? You can see that.
I think that's what it was, maybe.
Chekhov's crotch.
Before, what a bad way to go. Like before the sharks got to him, like fried his nuts with a water bottle.
That's the worst. He deserved it though. Yeah, and then they come down and at his kneecaps just see ya. He's done. He gone. Yeah.
And she's like, I love you, don't leave me. We get it. This is our 5th crying scene, I believe.
Yep.
Yep. And obviously Kyle just sits there like a corpse because
he's done. Yeah, because he is. Yep. And she's like, yeah, I love you. You're my best friend because you're my best friend.
Yep.
There's a quick flashback to some bathtub stuff here too, I think, right? They do like a quick little back to it.
I think there's a bath. Yeah.
Weird music choice here. Again, wasn't sure quite. I don't know quite how to categorize what this was, but it was like
it's like new agey, like ethereal pop.
Yeah, I was like, this seems not okay. All right.
Yeah, it was stupid.
Oh my goodness!
And then we get a moon transition and an underwater transition.
Yep.
And she's sleeping again
on the sand, right?
On the sand. Yep.
And it's like this soft lit weirdness. You're like, oh, this is a dream sequence. That's what this is going, right? And she like opens her eyes and she sees Kyle floating in the water. And I was like, I hope a shark comes and eats him.
Does this count as an awake scene, even though it's a dream sequence? We'll call it awake number 8.
Yeah, I think so. You can awake inside your dream, I think, right?
I think so.
If Inception taught us anything, right?
That's right.
So she sees Kyle floating in the water, and I was like, oh, he's gonna get mangled by a shark. Yeah. He does, but not yet. So he stands up and like walks over to her, right? And clearly
she's
a dream
like,
sequence.
Yeah. Your legs are fine.
And this is the line he gives her to like give her like the energy to move on.
Yeah.
You remember the feeling of the baby inside you?
Yes.
She's like, I do. That same life is in you now.
And what? I was like, wait, is she pregnant again?
I was like, do you remember that baby that was inside you that was dead? Like, what?
And that was almost the quote too.
Like, why would you say
Do you remember
this?
the feeling of the baby inside you?
Oh my God. So then he stands there for a moment. Then we get another jump scare and he gets yanked underwater. And I was laughing out loud at this scene. Like,
same. It was like in Harry Potter when they travel by fireplace, whatever that's called. Sorry, listeners.
I don't know.
But they get sucked up into the fireplace. That's like what happens to him into the ocean. It's very funny.
So then we get wake up out of the Inception moment. She wakes
number
up
9
again, right?
Yep. Double wake up.
So she's waking up slowly now. She's still passed out on her face. You know, the scene was funny too. She's like there. She's like, oh, waking up, right? And then ocean waters like slaps her in the face. And I was like, oh, okay, now you're awake.
Which this was one of the scenes she was complaining about because she was like, the water was so cold, and I just had this people were just dumping buckets of water on my face. That's how they simulated the waves.
Oh my God!
You just had a guy throwing buckets of water on her face.
You got paid probably $2 million to do this movie. Like, let's just pump the brakes. Alicia. Can I call you Alicia? Let's just calm down here.
Yeah, Ms. Silverstone.
Yeah, Ms. Silverstone, if we need to be polite. So then she's looking around, right? And I was like, what is this camera? Then it jumps to the camera, her POV, and it's single and it's just the camera's just moving around, shaking. Like, what are the choices we're making here? Let's think about the choices we're making here. Mm-hmm. Then it starts.
We'll get to see Kyle float away.
Yeah. Well, yes. So
Kyle floats away and a shark just casually eats it. And then a second shark comes. Awesome. So
she literally it starts raining and she just sees him get mangled by these 2 sharks basically. And they're just kind of nibbling. I was like, what the
Yep. Exactly.
Oh my God. And then she starts walking. And then there's more stock footage of a shark, I think, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of just sitting around and stock footage of sharks and stuff.
Yeah. So then she's so she just starts walking in the water and she's walking along the beach.
God, dude, this scene took.
And the water level's
so
long. So the water's kind of coming up, right?
Yeah.
And it's again, you kind of know where you're walking, where your surroundings are, right? There's reef and stuff on the floor, base of the ocean. It's going to
on a little sandbar reef kind of thing. Yeah.
But she gets her foot all cut open again. Not again, but she gets her foot cut open like Kyle, right?
Yep.
Do you know anything about where you are? Just swim.
Yep.
So she falls, right? And a shark comes in and starts nibbling at her legs, right? Takes a bite out of crime. And
well, right before this, she sees off in the distance, a real beach. And I was like, are those houses? In that, did you get that quick cut?
Oh no, I missed that. I must have missed that. It must have been rain or note or something.
She looks off into the dish, the fog clears up a little bit.
Oh my God.
And she can see a beach when I thought we're houses. I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
And then, and then that's when she trips and the sharks come and start biting her foot.
And she grabs like a chunk of, what is it, coral or what is it? Like it's like
it's like a rock or something.
Yeah, it's like beach. I don't know. Look really, really nice. Like you probably shouldn't touch and disturb nature, but whatever.
Yeah.
So she grabs it and she just starts bashing the shark in the,
like gouging at its eyes. Like you're like twisting it like a screwdriver.
Yeah, go for the eyes. Go for the eyes. We're gonna go for the eyes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So zero respect for the sharks and ocean life. You know, if you're at this point, just die.
Well, and then she gets out of the water and looks totally fine. Like that shark was eating her foot a second ago.
Yeah.
And she's she stands up and she's just like walking around. She's like a scrape on her leg.
It was like a bitten chunk. I mean, it was a pretty decent bite, but it was like a chunk out of her thigh. But
yeah,
she's still able to walk.
Looks totally fine. Yeah.
What it seemed like was happening was her leg was getting gnawed off. But
so then she like rips a piece of her shirt off, ties it around her leg. She's on like this again.
She's on this island, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then she takes 3 steps and collapses and
falls asleep again. Yeah. We get a night transition.
Wake up. So there's some like
just
weird
wake up 10.
Weird soft misty thing going on, like CG smoke. It's really weird. And then we're in a montage.
This scene takes even longer than the last one. Like actual 4 or 5 minutes again.
Walking and walking and
there's
walking.
Only 20. Well, somehow there's still, I was going to say, there's only 20 minutes left of the movie. Somehow there's still 20 minutes left of the movie.
Yeah.
How?
And she's just walking and like this misty beach island thing, right? And then she comes to like this rock formation.
Yeah, somehow.
Like a rock face.
Yeah. I'm going to climb it.
Like, okay.
What?
So then this movie. So then she struggles to climb up on it, right? And then she gets on the top, right? And she's kind of dragging herself
somehow
up there.
She gets to the top, yeah.
Yeah, right? And then on the other side, in the ocean or in the water there, hanging out in this little gully area, she spots a fisherman napping in his boat, his little round little boat.
Incredible.
And she decides to bring her bloody ass leg to this guy and give him problems.
He was just having a day. He was
drinking his booze, taking a nap, doing some fishing.
Just doing some shit-faced fishing, taking a little nap.
Is there any kind of fishing to do?
Right. Incredible.
And so she climbs into the guy's boat. The guy somehow does not wake up, but he must be pretty drunk, right?
Yeah. This is my first thought when this happened.
This whole interaction is hilarious.
I was like, maybe this is like a funeral pyre boat. And because she takes a swig of this guy's liquid, which is alcohol, but like I was like, what if it's like gasoline and like someone's trying to light this boat?
Thing on fire. Yeah.
Right.
And I thought he was just dead. I thought he was dead. I thought she didn't pull the hat off and his eyes would be pecked out by like something. I don't know, like something awesome, something better. So she wakes him up because that's what she does throughout this entire movie is wake people up.
Yeah.
Or wakes up herself. No, because it's not her.
Right.
Now this interaction is hilarious. So obviously he doesn't speak a bit of English, right?
Yeah. And she doesn't speak any Vietnamese, obviously.
Yeah. So, and they're having this back and forth and he's like, sure. And finally he's like, okay, I'll patch you up, whatever. And he starts to patch her up with all his fishing hooks and whatever.
Yeah. Great idea. Genius
great idea, but not the most sanitary. His hands were pretty dirty looking.
He's trying. Yeah.
He's trying. Like, hey, do what you can, right?
Yeah.
Pour some of the booze on her leg. She screams yet again.
Yeah.
And like we spend like a good minute on just him like putting things through
trying to sew her
and
wound up.
Yeah, it's like gruesome. It's like, okay, we don't need close-ups of this. I mean, okay. And
giving her basically improvised stitches, which she desperately needed.
Yeah. She's screaming more.
Yeah.
Again, the music is very odd for this moment. I don't even remember. It just didn't fit.
Yep. She's crying again. And then she collapses basically. And he's like, okay, well, she'll be fine. She like kind of falls asleep again.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm going to do what I came out here to do, go fishing.
Yeah.
So he jumps in the water, starts going to look for his traps. It seems like lobster traps or something, maybe.
Yeah, right? Something like that. Yeah.
And obviously there's a shark nearby, our favorite shark.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So then we get an aerial shot of the boat. And
Lenny the shark.
Our hero wakes up for the 11th time in this movie.
Yep.
And the boat gets a little bumped, right?
Yep. And then she wakes up again, starts screaming again.
Yep.
Please just stop screaming. And then we see she looks over the edge and she sees blood just start filling up the water, right? And then
exactly.
Goddamn hand.
Hey, little arm. Yeah. Half an arm.
Yeah, half an arm. Very Disney of them.
Yeah.
Very Star Wars of them.
Yeah, I liked it.
So then she tries to pull the anchor up to like get out of there, right?
Yeah.
She's like, see ya.
Fair enough, I guess.
Yeah. And then we get a jump scare of the dude coming back and he's just like, ah. Now this
help.
This whole interaction was like really strange. And so he jumps up, we get a jump scare, right? And he's like alive, his arms like,
right.
like a little nubbin. And then he pulls her into the water.
Well, yeah, she's trying to grab him to like pull him out of the water.
Yeah.
And he ends up pulling her in because she's very weak.
Yes. So then, but then it's like really weird. So like they're in the water and like they're swimming towards the anchor rope, but then like there was a scene where it looked like
battling.
Yeah. It looked like he like just pushed her face down. I was like, what?
Yeah. Well, he's leaking a lot of blood also.
Yeah, I'm sure he's in shock. Yeah. He'd probably just be like, whoop, I'm done. Yeah. So then, so he like, it was just a very strange little fight there, right? So then we're back on the fisherman's boat here, right?
Yeah. She gets on the boat and then she does end up trying to pull him in.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. Trying again, right? Can't get him in. Shark comes in, grabs him, and just finishes him off. Like, this
is our first shark shot.
Yeah. Our first real, here we go.
This is the prop shark, and the rest of it was all like Discovery footage.
Yeah, it looked like what it looked like to me. What they did was they had like stock footage of like a real shark, and then they kind of CG'd this guy into like the mouth area. And
see, I thought it looked like they made like a shark out of foam.
Oh, I don't think they did that. Oh, I don't think they even did that.
Okay.
It looked
it looked like a really crappy foam model. But you're right, it was a computer shark. Yeah,
and I think they just put this guy in there.
Probably that makes sense. Yeah. It looked horrible.
It looked terrible. Sorry. Didn't look good. You keep working your craft, you'll get better, but it did not look good.
Yep. And she just stands there and screams about it.
Yep. And then she grabs it's like a hand motor boat thing. I guess that's probably like.
Yeah. Well, she tries to get the anchor again first.
Yes.
And she does get the anchor up, which I was like, oh, great. Then she finds the motor.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, sick. Use the motor to get away from here.
Right.
Like a normal person.
Right. So it's like she's trying to like start it. She's like, right, trying to get it going. We get the shark swimming towards the boat. Yeah. And she's trying to fire the thing up. Tension's building where it's supposed to be.
Yep.
And
the shark looks ridiculous.
He definitely CG head of a shark. And just in time, it starts as the shark is about to take a bite out of this, just get in this boat and take her down.
Yeah.
And she just blenders the shark's face like it's a smoothie with the motorboat thing.
Right. Instead of trying to escape.
It is hilarious. And she's just like holding it. She's like, going all Rambo on the thing. And there's like blood splatters on the camera.
Yep. Oh yeah. It's it would be better if it were more realistic, but it's so ridiculous.
And she's all fired up. She's like, that's right, motherfucker. Not today.
Yep.
What?
Yep. And then she just like sits down.
Oh my god!
But our shark is coming back.
Yeah, he's not. He's not
obviously.
Yeah, there's blood in the water. He's ready.
Yeah. Which again, though, like a real shark would have left immediately.
Yeah,
like in that situation, like they're not trying to hunt you.
At that point, like I think if we got attacked like that, it's out of there.
And Alicia, it was funny in the interview that I read with Alicia Silverstone. She's like, oh yeah, and I think part of the premise here is like, the sharks are taking vengeance for us polluting the ocean and whatever. And I was like,
all right,
no, that's not what this is about. First of all,
you're just murdering sharks.
And also like the shark is not going to do this because sharks aren't trying to hunt people. Like that's not a preferred food source.
Yeah, I mean they get the blood, but if once they got attacked in the face like that, it probably would have been like, all right, I'm out of here
immediately.
Like I'm out of here. Like I'm not messing with this.
Definitely. So dumb.
It has no brain of vengeance. It has no idea of vengeance. Like
it knows I want to eat. I want to live and eat more, so I don't want to do that thing again.
I've just been attacked. I think I'm gonna leave that thing.
Yeah. So stupid. But the wounded shark looks hilarious. So they show it like underneath.
But of course, any sharkologists out there, let us know. Email us if we're completely wrong with shark behavior. But
I'm pretty confident.
I've watched enough Shark Week to know what's going on.
Exactly.
Come on.
We're basically sharkologists.
Pretty much.
Honorary sharkologists.
Yes. So the shark is circling around. He's coming back again. And she's like, you want more? F you. You want more? Okay.
So stupid.
And then we get like the underwater shot of like terrible CG shot of the shark's face all torn up. And I'm like, why even show that? Just show the fin.
It's very funny.
Just show the fin coming towards the boat.
Yeah.
And she's trying to fire up the motorboat thing. It doesn't go, right?
Yeah.
And then when you think it couldn't get any more ridiculous.
So funny. I love this scene.
This is it's got to be a comedy, right?
Because I think they're doing a jump the shark, but a shark jumped the boat.
They definitely do that. And the interview I read, with the director Kiet there, he was just like, he's like, yeah, a lot of shark movies, like I didn't want it to feel like a Sharknado, and I was like, well, you did, but made it worse.
You do make a flying shark right now.
So the shark leaps out of the water.
Yep.
In slow mo,
yep.
CG, and crashes into the boat and flips it over.
Capsizes it.
Tosses her under, right? And she's underneath like this little boat, right? And she got a little air inside there.
Yep.
And then there's a shot from the trailer, like her holding onto the anchor, right?
Yep. Which is obviously now at the bottom of the ocean again.
Right. So then we get the shot of like the shark coming up from like underneath, and it's like trying to build up more terrible CG. This thing coming, it's building. She's
panicking,
and she's pulling the rope of the anchor up, right?
Yeah. Well, and she's starting to like wrap herself around it too, like wrap it around herself. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's pulling, right? And then boom, shark's there and he takes a bite, and they just have her.
She screams.
She screams, right? Because you want to think, oh, you think it's her. Like they hold on her for a bit, right?
Yep.
And they go down underneath the water, and it's like, nope, the shark bit the anchor like a fishing hook.
Yep.
Right through his side of his head.
Yep.
His dumb little head.
The shark just sinks, which is obviously heavy.
Right.
Starts pulling her back down. There's more panicking. She somehow gets free.
She pulls the anchor rope out of the boat and just lets it go down.
Yep. And there's lots of fake blood around the fake looking shark.
Oh my goodness.
It's very dumb. And then she climbs on top of the capsized boat.
Yep.
And sees a beach with people in the distance, finally.
Yep. And there's some Vietnamese people on the beach, right? Speaking Vietnamese stuff. It's like a fishing village right on the edge there.
Yeah. And she's like, kind of realizes that she's saved, or she thinks she's saved. So she like relaxes a little bit. And then we get a sky transition for some reason.
Well, we get okay. Sky transition, right? And then she's laying on the top of the tipped over boat, and she
crying again.
She looks over, right? And there's a buoy type of thing.
Well, we hear some water splash, and we're like, ooh,
right,
coming back again.
Yeah, get it.
Yeah, and then that's when you see the buoy. Yeah,
it says danger beyond this point, and she.
God, I'm so mad. And then some like weird pop music starts playing.
Like what?
Like Alicia Silverstone's band again.
Yeah, the Silvertones.
Yeah, exactly. And she's just like laughing and floating. And then there's 4 minutes of credits, and then that's
camera pulls out, and that's it.
Yeah.
What? What was that?
Yep. Whew. 11 times she woke up in this movie.
Wow, that's too many wake ups.
In an hour and a half.
It's too many wake ups.
Yeah, hard to believe. Listeners, do not watch this one. This is one of the more unwatchable ones I think we've done in a while.
Yeah. This is pretty bad. It's not even worth like, oh, have some drinks and watch this with friends and laugh at it. It's like, nope, don't even do that. No, there's better movies to do that with. This is not it. So
yeah, should we try to fix it?
Oh boy, yeah.
I think you cut a lot of it. I think you make this a short. I think you make this a 20-minute short.
Yep.
Cut the first 45 minutes of the movie. Just get to the storm. Do the storm quick. Do the raft bit. Kyle's not a character in my short.
Yep. Okay.
Kyle doesn't exist. It's just Alicia Silverstone.
She's just a single grieving mother.
Nope. There's no grief.
There's no grief. Anything. There's nothing.
That storyline.
This is like a 10-minute movie you're making.
That's right. A 20-minute short.
Just like the last 5 minutes without CG sharks.
Give me the last like 20 minutes of the movie. Yeah. Like I want a couple of shark battles. Maybe she finds a fisherman. Like keep the rest of it. All of the other subplots don't matter. It's just about her and the shark. Give me that. 20 minutes. Nice and quick. And she dies at the end. That would have been better. Yeah.
It's tough to have both these characters were super annoying. So
it's like, awful.
It's tough to like redeem them, and she's like, I don't want them to live anymore.
Nope.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So basically, just cut the entire movie, make it a 15-20 minute short.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Where the shark wins.
Yeah, Moon Requin, right?
Yep, that's right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on board with that. I mean, I don't know. Like,
right?
There's nothing I can think.
Like, just rewrite this movie. Make it completely different.
Or you know what? Don't make it. Make something else.
Yeah.
That's my how to fix it. Don't make this movie.
Yeah, make the Princess with Joey King, which
Or
almost 60% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like that's supposed to be all right.
Make a sequel to that. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah. Whatever.
There's just Kissing Booth movie.
There's just so many other better shark movies. Why even? No pun intended. Why even dip your toes in the water?
That's a good, maybe a good thought to wrap up on.
Yeah, I think so. Because I don't want to even think anymore about this movie. So
nope.
Okay. Well, that's it. We're done.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We're back next week with a new movie. In the meantime, you can follow us on Instagram at @itsthismeetsthat. You can go to Twitter if you want, but I'm not calling it X. It's still Twitter. So
yeah.
ITMT pod on there, but we don't do much there anymore. Wherever you listen, you can subscribe. And if you got someone you think might like it, send it along to them.
Share it with your friends.
Yeah.
And share it with strangers too. You can write a review, talk about how good we are. Tell us we're good. Tell me I'm good. We appreciate that so much. It makes a big difference with the algorithms and all that. 5 stars be nice. Or if you don't feel like that and you want to send us an email, you can do that. Send us some long form feedback.
Yeah.
If you want to tell us, pitch us an episode, give us a movie to watch.
Sure.
We love that.
Absolutely.
It's thismeetsthat@gmail.com, or you can go to the website. It's thismeetsthat.com, where you can find episodes, all of them, 200 plus, so many hours of enjoyment and entertainment, plus t-shirts now.
Oof.
We finally came
Merch.
through. Merch, baby. Buy a shirt. It helps me and Russ, and helps pay for the podcast. So
yeah.
We appreciate it if you do. Or for Shadowed Monster, maybe for your friend.
Oh man, that's a great one. Classic one.
ITM Tron.
Got a bunch of safety tips out there.
So many safety tips.
So good. So good.
Great shirts.
Great shirts.
Check them out.